Hello, miniatures lovers on the interwebs. I'm Doc Eon. Today is Monday, the 16th of August, 2021, and I'm here to ramble about miniatures. And we're looking at the completed pile, 8 or 10, depending on how you count. If you count the mounts and the riders as separate, it's 10. Figures from Games Workshop of various kinds of lizard men. And it's maybe a little hard to see them here. It's really overcast today, so I have to use artificial lighting. Yeah, it's a bit harsh. Might be difficult to see them. So I'm not going to bother trying. I'll just take the still pics at the end in the light box, and they're always well lit, of course. But yeah, I kind of speed painted these. I was not super careful with them because, well, these resin recasts, well, they're not recasts, they're official minis sold by Games Workshop, but they might as well be recasts because the resin quality is not great, and they're difficult to work with, and but I got them done, and that is, at the end of the day, all that counts. So let's move on to what I'm prepping to work on next. And this is the batch of newly prepped and primed stuff. We have the giant mosquito, which I'm painting off the base. I've set up the base with a plastic flight stand. It's not on this desk. It's never mind. It's not very exciting looking. But I don't want to get paint on the clear plastic flight stand, so I'm painting the base separately, and we'll assemble it at the end. Here's the big. Well, this is the avatar with Perdita riding on it. Perdita in her avatar form, so to speak, which I put on a plastic scenic base. More Malifaux stuff. This is Père Ravage, a gremlin who has a bomb-carrying pig. This is another gremlin with a big blunderbuss on the hand. And here's Von Schill. And here's the guard sergeant, I think, or something, some NCO. This is that Reaper character, the crazy prospector. You can see he has a small nugget between his thumb and forefinger, so he just struck gold, and that's why he's dancing so excitedly. Then we have these 3 bombshell miniatures. From the company called Bombshell Miniatures. The 2 aviators I put on bases that I stamped to look just like asphalt or concrete, so I'm going to paint them like a runway. The deep sea diver I put on another plastic scenic base, which is some old wood. It's like she's on the wreck of a ship or something. I don't know why she's taking off the helmet if she's underwater. She shouldn't be. Anyway, she's lifting up the helmet, and she has a spear gun strapped to her back. It's just glued on there. I've tried to find reference photos. There were no obvious places to put it, but most photos I've seen of it place it somewhere like that. You assume there's an invisible sling somewhere. And yeah. So we'll see how I go about priming the next batch of stuff, because I'm having trouble with my airbrush, honestly. When I primed these, I felt the pressure was a bit low. I had to hold the airbrush very close to the models, and the spray was coming out very weak and also lopsided, only spraying mostly to one side and not a centered cone, which usually means there's some blockage. So I cleaned it thoroughly. It's clean as a whistle now. But now it's not spraying anything at all. It's just pumping in a little bit of air, and when I try to run water through it, it won't spray any of the water out. So I've gone disassembled it completely and looked over all of it multiple times, and there seems to be no blockage, so I don't understand what's going on. The only thing I can imagine is maybe it's an issue with the... Maybe my compressor is giving up the ghost. Maybe it's not putting out enough air. And I've tried 2 different hoses, so it's not that. So, yeah. Well, I'll have to investigate that some more. We'll see what happens. Anyway, this stuff is maybe I'll have to prime by brush for a while, or get a rattle can, which is what I used to do. You know, I prefer not to, because the airbrush is easier when it works. Rattle cans have an issue of I have to spray outside, and I have to be very careful with the wind conditions so it doesn't spray back on me, doesn't blow back on me. Yeah, and that limits the possible windows of time where I can use a rattle can to non-windy days and non-raining days. That's why it's, you know, the airbrush is usually much more effective and easy. But anyway, hand priming works too. It's not impossible. So, we'll see. Moving on to the numbers and then future projects. So the state of purchased miniatures is that I have actually not managed to sell that last batch of minis I wanted to get rid of, the Nemesis stuff. Possibly I set the price point too high, but I don't want to let them go too cheap, because a lot of them are out of print, and they did cost me quite a lot. We'll see. Anyway, I did get something in the mail, namely this is the result of a Kickstarter from a company called Juegorama, a Spanish company, for some monsters. So the main stuff that this campaign was for was these worms and this Displacer Beast, I believe. And these are resin minis. I haven't checked the quality of the resin, haven't unpacked them yet, so we'll have to see what they're like. I picked up some extras. This is a cockatrice, a rather large cockatrice compared to the ones I painted from Reaper, by Reaper. And this one is an Umber Hulk, of course. Reasonably on par with the size. I painted a bunch of Umber Hulks before. I don't know why I need another one, but oh well. And then there's 2 dragon eggs, one solid one and one just hatched with a little hatchling head poking out, which are of course extremely simple, no assembly required. And yeah, I'll just prep these for next week, I think. I'll try to come up with some interesting basis for them, stamp them with some texture and whatnot. And yeah, not much else to say, really. We'll have to see how these paint up. And with that, we're done for this day, this episode. So I hope you enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Comment, share, and, you know, join me again in a week. Same day of the week, same channel, same Dakian. But for now, I'm signing off.